Tour guide, tour guide, tour guide, tour guide, tour guide.
Hey guys, Rada here. Gonna react to the new ban list. Here we go.
Yo, is that triple book of moves?
Kind of lost the excitement around these things, haven't we? So Duel has been doing something unprecedented throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. I'm not quite sure I'd call it a testing ground yet for the TCG and OCG, but it's definitely unique and has been controversial. And that something is to make an update to the Forbidden Limit list every month. And I suppose this kind of begs the question from you, the viewer. How often should we get a ban list? Major complaints across the video game industry is lack of regular tuning and game balance. If anyone plays games like League of Legends, God be with you, or Overwatch,
what is wrong with you?
You're probably familiar with how broken certain heroes or champions can be on release or with a new season, and yet players' frustrations reach boiling point, frothing at the mouth in rage as
The Reds don't know how to play their game.
And yet in Master Duel, with the release in January 2022, we saw our first list drop in April. Then there was another one in July, and subsequently there has been a list every month since. Other than that sporadic start, we've had one every single month. So how do you feel about that? And is the ban list currently in the room with us right now? Why don't you sidebar those old vibrating brain cells of yours for now, and let's take this step by step. Table 500 is in just over a week. We hold this a couple times a year, and it's not like the bottom table. This one is a bit more about the flashy, crazy combos. Pause the video, read the instructions, and I'll see you there. The second point of contention here isn't also the frequency, but the potency of the ban list.
Potency.
If you get a ban list every few weeks, then we can't really have massive sweeping changes all the time. I mean, we could, but that would be chaos and kind of funny, I suppose. That's for last card standing. Whew! Damn, can't wait for that series to hit La Jin Beatdown in 5 weeks. Because you see, the problem is that you start to kind of play around with people's gem economy and nobody messes with my gacha video games free currency. That isn't really free, but kind of is. But here's why you should invest all your money into a still image of a monkey. It's almost the same returns, honestly. A positive is that a ban list every month seems like a good amount of time considering just how quickly Yu-Gi-Oh players in the interconnected world of this game can solve metas, formats, combos, etc. Makes the game a little bit more exciting to experiment with since everything generally is kept quite fresh. Another positive is that, hypothetically, in theory, if anything gets out of hand or too crazy too quickly, well, then there's a ban list basically a few weeks away to adjust this. And I understand this is complete utopic thinking, but in theory, hypothetically, problems are addressed very, very efficiently. The negatives, well, mostly I think go back to the gem economy and your money. It would kind of suck to have spent a lot of gems in real life De Niro into a new deck just for your shiny new deck to get significantly crippled so soon. Has this happened yet? Well, in the TCG, I mean, kind of. I suppose Pepe was drastically neutered in 2016, although was still definitely more than playable. It did drop hard from being, you know, literally tier 0 to, well, fair. And while you may also note that Konami doesn't actually tend to hit the expensive cards. They don't hit the ultras, they don't really hit the secrets.
Actually, Farfa, the secret rare from...
Yeah, I understand. I'm saying generally that sometimes is usually what happens. And while that is true that the higher rarity cards, definitely in Master Duel is the case, while the higher rarity cards are generally the ones that are left alone because my money's in the ultras, the question is, does it really matter? Let's say Phantom Knight is tier 0 in the best deck, and then they decide to ban Bardiche. Well, yes, I can get my 30 crafting points back, but every other thing I've bought relates to that deck. The extra, all of the main deck cards around it, like the cloaks, the boots, the brigadine. I've invested gems elsewhere that correspond with that one card. So yes, while that exact card might be hit, I'm still sort of down thousands of gems regardless. Me and my 10,000 gem deck getting their most critical and important card banned, without which the deck completely falls apart. I have become what I hate by creating a Marvel meme, I know. Another negative is that a month might not be that long to really play around with a new format. People want time to experiment and test new things, especially when new packs or sets are released. Sometimes you don't need to hit current format cards if there's an incredibly powerful booster box right around the corner. But then again, I suppose that goes back to the potency of these frequent lists. If these lists are basically very light taps, then it kind of begs the question, what even is the point in the first place? I mean, branded opening and Aliber went to 2. Okay, well then they release Sprite and soon Tier Limit Ishizu. Who cares about Albaz and branded opening at 2? Sorry, not Albaz, the other one. What do I think? Well, It's hard to say. Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have set rotation and... Whoa, I just said the bad S word that doesn't end in sussy, I know. The problem is that anything that happens on a ban list is permanent and can take years for cards to come back. I mean, look at Goyo Guardian. That card was banned for way too long, way past its prime, and then needlessly errata'd when it just doesn't need it. Bestiari, Shurit, Archfiend until now. Cards that sit on the list for no reason whatsoever, really. What I'm saying is that these hits are forever. At least they friggin' feel that way. They're basically permanent for a lot of these cards. Or at least they last so long, way beyond the deck can ever be relevant anyway. Case in point, Bestiari. Coupled with the gem economy and my monies. I don't know if I really like such frequent updates. Do I like the way the TCG functions now with like the 3-month lists? I don't know. Maybe it's that grass is greener style of thinking where you always miss what you don't have. Because sometimes I genuinely sort of do miss having 6-month delays between lists. During those 6 months, usually the format can be shaken up by new product, new card releases. And then when the 6 months is over, you know you're going to get an absolute no Russian style ban list. And they've always been some of the most hype ban lists we've had. Well, let me know what you think down in the comment section below, which I will definitely read. Do you prefer smaller hits or would you prefer longer delays with bigger impactful lists? If you've enjoyed my content recently, consider purchasing a Joel shirt as well as becoming a Patreon. This also gives you entry to the LCS and various forms of Discord benefits. Thanks for watching, and until next time, adios!